Welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
And I'm Sally.
Sit back, grab a drink, grab a snack.
And enjoy our review of Backlash.
Straight in with the most unpredictable match of the night, the Fatal 4-Way for the United States Championship between LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest and of course the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Knight started the match on fire as he took out Fatu, Priest and McIntyre, even delivering a double elbow to Priest and Drew and a cover on Fatu after an inverted DDT. Knight and Priest form a mini alliance to send Fatu from the ring before turning on each other, with the Scottish psychopath then neck-breaking everyone, kipping up and then looking for an early claymore, only to get clotheslined by Knight.
Fatu then suffers a Hurricane Rana from Priest off the top rope, with the Punisher then flatlining Knight and crossbodying McIntyre. We get a little breather for a moment after Fatu's Samoan drop Priest onto the Timekeeper's barrier before the Werewolf and the Warrior lock eyes. The two exchange blows with Fatu winning out, hitting a Samoan drop and hip attack before looking for the moonsault. Only this is stopped by Drew, who is in turn stopped by Knight. LA gets thrown down to the mat though, with Drew then throwing Fatu onto Knight. This sets up Jacob nicely as he uses his momentum to hip attack McIntyre and dive out the ring at Priest. He re-enters the ring and swantons McIntyre from the top rope before suffering a BFT from Knight, who subsequently eats a South of Heaven from Priest. Then, you guessed it, Priest gets claymored only to fall onto Knight and cover. The referee counts to 2 before Drew makes the save.
Fatu and Knight then get future shocked by Drew, with the latter even being claymored and covered. But as the referee was about to hit 3, Priest pulled Drew from the ring, with the two then fighting off into the Timekeeper's area. That's Priest and McIntyre, not Priest and the referee. Fatu looks for the moonsault on Knight, but Knight rolls out the way and delivers his own turnbuckle move. 2 elbow drops and then covers for 2. We see McIntyre and Priest fighting off into the crowd, which ends with the South of Heaven, off some arena equipment and through some tables. Back at ringside, Knight sets Fatu up on the announcer's desk and he's ready to deliver an elbow from the middle rope, when from nowhere, Solo appears and pulls Jacob from the desk.
As LA goes to confront Solo, he's attacked, but not by anyone in the match, but by someone else, Jeff Cobb.
Who? No, I'm sure there's people out there who know who he is. We don't know who he is.
No idea.
We did learn later where he was from, but at this point, we have no idea who he is.
He gets the best of Knight before tossing him into the ring. Jacob looks either confused or annoyed, but either way, gets in the ring and hip attacks Knight, followed by a moonsault and cover for 3. Fatu retains his US title after what can only be described as a fantastic opening bout, and yet another Samoan.
Well, we're assuming
Yeah.
that's what they're going to go with, but it looks like a mini Bronson Reed,
Somehow related.
doesn't he? I think he does anyway. It's just a little tiny Bronson Reed. We haven't got Bronson Reed.
Let's get a mini one.
Let's get a mini one. Anyway, Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria next for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This started well, nothing missed and everything hit, with the Valkyria even getting some serve time in before sending Lynch to the outside. Lyra then heads up top, but Lynch gets her down and starts her own assault with slaps, hits, kicks and covers, but only for 2. Lyra comes back with a sit-down powerbomb, but only gets a 2 count, with the women then heading to the middle rope, where Lyra hits a superplex and covers again for 2.
After another exchange of 2 count covers, Lyra hits a leg drop from the middle rope, followed by a moonsault. Only Lynch gets her knees up, taking the wind out of her rival. We have some yay boos in the middle of the ring, followed by a tussle to get the disarmer locked in, before Lynch is able to hit the manhandle slam and cover for 2. Lynch then pounds on Valkyria before leaving the ring and retrieving a chair, only for the referee to take it from Lynch as she gets back in the ring. As the ref disposes of the chair, Lynch exposes one of the turnbuckles, but isn't used yet, as a German suplex and moonsault score Valkyria another 2 count. Becky then throws Lyra towards the exposed turnbuckle, but she hits the middle padded one and rebounds into another manhandle slam and cover, again for 2, much to Becky's disbelief.
The referee then notices the turnbuckle pad is missing, so decides to retrieve it and put it back on. But as she does, Valkyria hits Nightwing and covers. The ref stops trying to replace the pad and counts to 2, which probably would have been 3 had she not been messing about. Never seen a ref do that before, to be honest. Forget the ring, just get on with the match. Anyway, after another exchange of pin attempts, Valkyria manages to get the decisive one, covering for the 1, 2, 3 and retaining her title. Becky lays into Valkyria after the bell, even locking in the disarmer, which of course brings out backstage hands, who eventually talk Lynch down. Lyra seems to receive a blow to the nose towards the end of the bout, with Cole suggesting it could be broken. But Valkyria won, which I said she would. And we both said Fatu, for those keeping score of the predictions.
Yes, indeed. Next up, the men's Intercontinental title match between the holder, Dirty Dominik Mysterio, and the challenger, Penta. A backstabber nets Penta a 2 count before Dom hangs him on the top rope, knocks him from the ring, and then dives out straight into a DDT, which looked very fluid.
Very good. Dom never even touched the floor. It was fantastic.
Yeah, so good. After exchanging chops and Dom throwing Penta into the ring steps, we move back into the ring where Dom covers for 2. We get a crossbody from Penta to the outside before we get back in the ring and see one amigo and a missed 619, allowing Penta to get a cover for 2.
Dom steals his girlfriend's finisher, Oblivion, and gets a 2 count. Nice touch. Before we're fighting on the apron, with Dom then suffering a Mexican destroyer. Both men then fall to the floor and the crowd begin to boo as we see Carlito making his way out. As the ref is dealing with Carlito, JD McDonough and Finn Balor spring from the crowd and attempt to attack Penta, only the ref catches them in the act and sends them from ringside. Before he does though, Penta manages a dive out the ring at Carlito and JD. Penta re-enters the ring, super kicks Dom and then climbs to the top rope. As he does, Balor tries to get in the ring, which inevitably distracts the ref. This allows El Grande Americano to come from nowhere and headbutt Penta, who then falls back down to the mat. With the job done, Balor gets down, Americano hides at the side of the ring, and Dom hits a frog splash and into cover. Of course, this is curtains for Penta, as Dom gets a 3 count and retains his IC title. Absolutely love it. Love the Americano angle. Just great fun. Because now you can have Penta and Americano picking up. I love this kind of very entertaining. That's what it's all about. It's entertainment. Love it.
We learn that Jey Uso will be defending his World Heavyweight title at Saturday night's main event against Logan Paul. Before we get the penultimate match of the night, Pat McAfee against the ring general, Gunther. The crowd chant, "You tapped out," while Gunther smiles on. But when we do lock up, the Austrian dominates. Why wouldn't he? For every chop Pat tries to land, Gunther does land, knocking Pat down and then just stalking and toying with his opponent like a cat with a mouse. There's a big boot and 2 released German suplexes from Gunther, of course, before we head to the top rope where Pat fights off the ring general, knocking him down to the mat and following up with a moonsault. It misses.
Of course it does. Another release suplex sees Pat land on his feet and lay kicks into Gunther before attempting a pin, which only scores a 1. We exchange forearms in the middle of the ring, with Gunther then powerbombing Pat and locking in the Boston Crab. Cole at this point leaves his commentary post and pleads with McAfee to tap out, but Pat resists as Gunther drags him back under and rains down elbows to the side of his head. Having dealt with Pat, Gunther decides to drag Cole into the ring and looks to powerbomb the announcer. Only Pat intervenes with a kick and then rolls Gunther up for 2. Whew, close. Pat gets another 2 after Gunther suplexed Pat back into the ring, with Cole grabbing Gunther's leg, throwing him off balance. Pat covered with Cole holding the Austrian's foot, but all to no avail as it only scored 2.
A sleeper then gets locked in by Pat, only for Gunther to fight out and lock in his own. Pat very nearly fights out, but inevitably doesn't as Gunther falls back to the mat with McAfee still in his clutches. Pat fades and the ref calls for the bell, with the ring general rightfully winning this complete mismatch. Gunther does doff his hat after the match, showing Pat respect he deserved.
I mean, yeah, you couldn't have Pat winning that. If it was a street fight,
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to let that slide.
Stipulation, fair.
But
the only way he was winning as if someone other than Cole helped.
Yeah, but you can't have interference because the referee would be like, no.
Yeah, but...
I mean, we know it's entertainment, but I can't suspend my disbelief that much that a non-wrestler would be somebody called the ring general.
Exactly, yeah.
Come on. But, fair enough. Well done, Pat. Well done, Gunther. Good. Anyway, so, last match of the night, John Cena versus Randy Orton for the Undisputed WWE Championship. We exchange eye pokes, with Randy's being far more devastating as it sends Cena to the outside, with Cena getting back in the ring only to suffer a shoulder tackle. John's had enough, so heads up the rampway, but Cena isn't getting out of it this easily as Orton goes after him, bringing him back down to the ring. Cena gains the upper hand with corner punches, only for Orton to then return the favour and cover for 2.
The pace is slow, with Orton taking his time between each kick or punch, with the two then exchanging sleepers multiple times, before we have another rest on the canvas. 2 shoulder tackles, a spin slam, and of course the 5-knuckle shuffle look to end it for Cena, but Orton fights back with a clothesline and goes for the draping DDT, only for Cena to fight out and lock in the STF. Cena releases to get a better grip, but Orton kicks him away, and then completes what he tried to do earlier, which is the draping DDT. The Viper looks for the RKO, but Cena blocks and hits the AA. But as he's performing it, Orton somehow manages to grab Cena around the neck and turn it into a AA RKO, which takes out both men.
We then exchange punches and uppercuts in the middle of the ring before an AA from Cena gets him a 2-count cover. Cena reverts to shoulder tackles, but as the second one comes in, it's converted to an RKO, but Orton can't follow up as it takes its toll on him. When Orton does get up, he attempts a punt, but Cena avoids it and hits another AA, only for another kick out by Orton. Cena then mocks Orton by slamming the mat with his fists, and then sets up for a punt, but misses, with the 2 superstars then scuffling, and Cena pushing Orton into the referee.
Cena hits another AA, with him then leaving the ring and picking up the title. As he re-enters the ring, he of course gets hit with an RKO. With Orton then covering, the ref comes to after colliding with Orton to make the count, but only for 2. Even though Cena was down for at least 5. Cena escapes the ring with Orton following, who starts clearing the announcer's desk. The ref comes over to Randy to stop him doing what he's doing, but Cena then attacks Orton from behind and sends him crashing into the referee, which once again wipes him out. Cena goes to AA Orton onto the desk, but Orton counters into an AA of his own, with Cena landing on the announcer's desk instead. As the referee is out of the equation, Orton pulls a table from under the ring, sets it up and AA Cena through it before sending him back in the ring.
RKO cover, no ref. Then 1 runs out but only counts to 2 as Cena kicks out. That was easily 3, but no ref at the start of the pin. Cena picks up the title and goes to use it while Orton argues with the ref. Only as Cena runs at Orton, Orton ducks and Cena wipes out the new ref. Orton hits another RKO and covers. Why? There's no ref, Randy, with the crowd counting to at least 13 before backstage hands and Nick Aldis head out. Orton, frustrated, clears the ring by RKOing everyone, even Aldis, and then lines up a punt. As Orton charges at a down Cena, R-Truth dives in the ring and stops him. Of course he's RKO'd, with Cena then waking up and low-blowing Orton.
With the title still in the ring, Cena puts it to good use by clocking Orton with it and then covering. The original referee then manages to crawl back into the ring and count the 1, 2, 3, with Cena retaining his title. After the match, Cena said he needed competition and then told the crowd to drink it in as he stood on the ropes and said, "This is what the last real champion looks like."
There you go. So I said Orton to win.
I said Cena.
For my little prediction thing, well, my theory, I mean, it doesn't mean to say that they can't have another match.
Very, very
I mean,
true.
for me, this is setting up a street fight. As much as
Yeah.
it was. Whether
Yeah,
people
even though
want
it had a bit of one.
whether people want to see this again or not, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. Because it turned into just anything goes.
Yeah, well, yeah, it just turned to chaos, didn't it? So it could easily go to SummerSlam.
Yes.
But the only thing is, with Orton, RKO and Aldis, is Aldis then going to be like, no?
Yeah, suspended.
So, or is that how they make it last till SummerSlam?
suspend
him for a little bit.
and then he comes
They
back.
don't have to be seen. Both of them don't have to be seen, but then we can come back a bit closer.
True, because because Orton can always say, well, I did have him covered at least twice with no referee.
Exactly.
And easily a 3 count, so I deserve
yeah.
that title shot. Yes, I like. Yeah, that's fair enough. What I did find interesting was Cena saying he needed competition, and I thought, because I think there was about 40 seconds left, that somebody may have come out, like either somebody coming back, somebody new, or just, I don't know, just to say, I'm your competition. But nobody did, so I don't see there's any reason why we couldn't go with Orton again, but who knows. Loved Americano coming out, loved that, fantastic. And it was just straight on, there was no backstage, it was just straight on with the matches. That's what I like, that's all you want to see. I'm glad Gunther won, as I say, because it would have been a bit of a mockery if McAfee won. I know it's entertainment, but sometimes
I quite like
you've
that
got
no one came out. I mean, obviously Cole helped, but I quite like that no one came out, like all the theories that people had of like, oh, Goldberg's coming.
Somebody's coming back to help him.
I like that it was a straight match essentially.
And
it's, as you say, Gunther rightfully won.
And it's finished.
Yeah.
Because if Gunther had kept the move locked in on Pat, then somebody could have come out and then that could have set something up for Gunther. But for me, this Gunther Pat McAfee thing is done. Gunther showed that bit of respect afterwards. That's it. It's all finished.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you enjoyed that, consider giving us a like, and if you really enjoyed it, give us a subscribe. Whatever you choose, thank you so much for watching.
And hopefully we'll see you on Tuesday for Raw.